welcome to whatever this is. If it's a live, it's a podcast, I don't know. A recording of audio and visual elements combined on some platforms. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, we just spoke earlier that I was rushed from a different meeting, so planning is horrible today. But that's not the standard. That's just the new year. Yeah, yeah,
Manic January. Yeah, I feel you.
yep.
I sat down in this chair at like 2 minutes to the episode, and normally I'm like 10 minutes early. So poor time management on both fronts, which is
Yeah.
great. Obviously, you have come into C2C and fucking smashed it, which happens a lot, and it's great. But when people do that, I like to try and get under their skin, find out what worked, like what the transformation's been like, what plans are for the future, what other clients and people watching this are going to be able to take away from it. So I'd like to just grill you with some questions, if I may.
You can try.
I can try. I will try. Yeah. Okay. So rather than me just taking the reins to begin with, tell us about you.
So I live in a tiny country called Denmark, in Copenhagen, and I've run my business for now. I think it's year 3, my third year. I have to double check if it's 3 or 2. I don't remember, or 4. But I am a B2B copywriter, so I crawl into people's brains and get them to do stuff, basically.
Sounds sinister.
Yeah, it's a bit more cozy than that, but it's not that creepy. But I understand people. I don't know what makes them tick, or I am gonna try and understand them and get them to click on a button or buy, book a meeting or whatever. And mainly I work with boring B2B clients, IT, tech companies, engineers, lawyers, people that cannot, if their life depended on it, make anything that resonates with their audience because it drowns in technical stuff. So yeah, that's basically me.
Yeah, I remember something you put into Slack a while ago, and it's you were talking about just killing boring copy or
Yes.
boring B2B copy. Have you got a slogan around that?
No, but I can tell everybody that it costs you 3 times as much as then compared to if you do interesting and emotionally engaging copy. So I'm gonna save people money in the end. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
But yeah, my life's mission is to make B2B less boring, basically.
Why do you go after those industries and not like, I don't know, Nike or Apple or Adidas or something that I would say was more exciting?
Yeah, I've gotten that question a lot. Actually, I had a friend of mine who said that you sound like Innocent Smoothie, or that's the conversational tone and, a bit, using humor. And I think I've always been, kind of stubborn. So if everyone plays over here, let me see what happens if I go over here.
Nice.
So it was a matter of niching down, and copywriters, shooting up like never before. This was before AI, just before ChatGPT launched. I started 6 months before, so good timing.
Perfect timing. Yeah.
Perfect. And I don't have the 10 or 5 years agency background, or I cannot pull fat logos out of my ass or anything like that. So I just had to make a decision on where can I stand out the most, and that's in B2B.
Yeah. When someone comes into something boring and sprinkles that personality in,
Yeah,
it can bring stuff to life. I think that about like LinkedIn and stuff. It's like some of it's just so dry. If anyone turns up and just has an ounce of personality,
yeah,
with a targeted approach, and they know what they're talking about, it's a lot easier. And I love I've actually just prepared a lesson on what I'm calling polar positioning for tonight. So everyone's over here and you go here, and there's a phrase that I thought of. I think the source is a Levi's jeans ad from like the 80s, and it's like, when they zig, you zag. It's quite a well-known phrase, but I wanted to know where it came from. And what you said is basically that.
Yeah, because the B2B market in the industries I work in they are so saturated with, boring and nothingness. And especially after, people can just type stuff into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever they use, everybody's going to sound the same. And I realized that what I do is not easy for everybody. I've always taken it for granted, because it's easy for me to take something complex, understand it, and make it interesting for whoever's going to read it. So it took some time to understand it, but yeah.
Nice. And what was the reason, again, just for limiting to those industries? Because everyone talks about niching down, and we have clients that come into C2C like, oh, I want to niche down, but I can kind of help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that, and why did you choose to go in this particular direction?
First of all, it was an experiment. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Let's the first step was, writing B2B in my tagline on LinkedIn. So it was just, that's what I knew. And I thought that, the longer the buyer journey, the more interesting it gets, because it's not about performance and, $1 in, $10 out kind of thing, like with the web shops and e-commerce and stuff like that. So it was an experience to see where is it going to take me. And it was it was scary to niche down, but I think it's also about being clear. And that's something also C2C has helped me with, besides being a B2B copywriter. Okay, but the copywriting is a lot of things. So I've actually niched down to 2 or 3 different services. And then behind the curtain, I do a lot of, different stuff. But in my communication, I focus on the same 3 things. And it's amazing what it does to people, because they understand what I do now.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for just taking that. I mean, I re-recorded the welcome lesson. I was like, your job for the first few years in business is just to go and, like you say, run tests, run experiments, like a mad scientist, and just see what works. Oh, it doesn't work, move on. Oh, try this, tweak this, do this, narrow down, widen out, broaden, whatever it is. It's exciting stuff. Okay, so, and we'll talk about how much you've smashed it and how you've smashed it in a sec. But let's ignore business. What was life like internally before C2C? Where are you at before you joined?
When I look down, it's because I did my homework. So I did some notes last night, reflecting back. Actually,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, very good student here. We don't call ourselves student, but yeah. So there's the business self and this, private self. It's all mixed together. But when I had a look at my calendar, first of all, I was fearing holidays because because then I could not work. I was afraid that I, wouldn't get enough income. Leads were, inconsistent. It was very feast or famine kind of situation. I think that's what I hear also from a lot of freelancers. But I had no control, and I was just sitting on my hands, hoping that people would discover me through my content. And I slept horrible. I was awake, I think, 3 hours every night for maybe 2 months, worrying, do I have enough money to pay this and this? And do I have enough money to, invest in myself and my business? I was saying no to doing social stuff because I didn't want to deal with people asking me how my business was going, because I didn't want to tell them, basically. And I was sick like never before. Last year I had 2 months where I was, on the lowest level of work. I've never, usually I had 1 sick day a year, but last year was just horrible because I was so stressed out and my nervous system was on overdrive, constantly working every night and every day. I had a slow morning with my son, because that's why I went into my own business, because I wanted, to take back my time. But I just, I was like a headless chicken, basically. And I was, I've told I think the story in the Slack community that I've pulled a serious ostrich on my financials. So I had no idea how everything was going. So it was month to month, but still, fluctuating like crazy. So it was not when I look back, I told myself that I enjoyed being my own boss and having my own business. But if I had to be completely honest, it was not, it was not good. It was not pretty.
Yeah, it doesn't sound it. I mean,
No,
like that internal instability just from
exactly.
business, like you say, it's passed on to the personal, and any personal turmoil you're going through, like you're ill or whatever, and like, or you're arguing with your partner, or your child's off, or something like that, all just passes on to
Yeah.
the business. So, yeah, creating that system for stability is a massive thing, and well done. Excuse me, well done for doing it. I remember when you joined, you were ill.
Yes. Yeah. For the first 2 months, I was ill.
Yeah, so you're still in
Yeah.
recovery at the point of going, I'm going to make a serious financial commitment and an energy and a mental commitment to change this.
Yeah, because I was sick of, not knowing and not being in control of, the next few months, and not being, it's it's an evil spiral, not knowing if you make enough money, then you have, people coming at you, but they couldn't pay me enough, but I took on the project anyway. So I had to take on more projects, and I didn't deliver on time. So I had to push deadlines. It was just, it was the worst. And I actually feel it's the first time in 3 years, this past 2 weeks, I've not been, buzzing with, stress inside. And it feels odd. It feels a bit, can it be like this? Is this okay? Am I missing something?
Stillness. And it's
Yeah.
like, normally there's some, I feel the same as of sort of December. It was just like, put some things in place where it's just like, oh my God, I feel like I need something to be stressed about, because the nervous system's just so used to firing. And the more I'm kind of recognize it, because I've made a thing of it, but I keep hearing people our age, maybe, talk about the nervous system, right?
Yeah.
My wife was speaking about it earlier, actually, and it's fascinating. But when you're on high alert, your emotions run high, and when your emotions run high, it burns more fucking calories, I guess, and then you're much more easily susceptible to getting cold or burning out or feeling ill or feeling tired, whatever it is. So, congrats on overcoming it. I know it's not easy. What was the catalyst? I'm assuming some of it was that, but what was the main reason or the main thing that made you go, I'm joining C2C. I'm going to do this thing.
I think I went on one of the workshops. It changed its name since I joined it. I remember that we got the Deadly DM Bank, and we did that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the approach. Yeah, exactly. And it was the approach of, not sitting in your hands, but actually starting conversations. And it just dawned on me, why the fuck haven't I done that before? I know a lot of people. I have existing clients. I have, a huge network, because I have a position as a Danish copywriter already before I joined C2C, but I was not using it properly. I was being the funny one. Still am, but I was not, being very strategic in talking to people and telling people what I offered, because I didn't want to be, salesy or pushy, or so that was what clicked. And it was and then we had the call, you and I, and I just think the approach, it's not just about marketing, it's not just about deliverability, it's the whole business side of thing, and how you work with yourself, and how you are on sales calls, and that's what made me get my credit card for the first time ever on a call. Take my money, please. I've never done that before. I'm usually a thinker. I have to think pretty hard. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you. I've really enjoyed your money. I'm so glad you did. And I was the exact same, right? So when I didn't have the pain that you had, because I had a full-time job, but I had the desire, and I'd started dipping my toe in, maybe I could help a few people. And then some guy asked me for $4,000 on a call. And his program wasn't even that good, but the I think I learned a skill of just backing myself by paying him the money. And that really changed shit for me. Like, if I'm going to pay someone $4,000, that means someone out there will pay me $4,000. Like, it's a thing. And I think that's a massive unlock as well. Okay, so what was your biggest concern? I always like to ask this question. It's just like, you're about to give some stranger for the first investment ever, some extremely humorous, like charming man on the internet has asked you for a load of money, like thousands and thousands of dollars. What were you most concerned about? Because you're already on high alert.
Yeah, I was concerned that I wouldn't, is it worth the money? Am I gonna earn it back pretty quick? I actually decided that I wanted to earn it back in 3 months. I told myself that I had to do that. So that took care of that. But also I was pretty overwhelmed. I had my mom was sick last year. And, being sick myself, I have a 3-year-old. So obviously, sick all the time from the daycare and, takes all sorts of crap home. So I was pretty overwhelmed and I just left and, it's not nowhere near this. It's like a financial program, getting insights, getting overview of your business financials for solo people like me. So I just finished that, and I remember telling that I can't start on C2C until the end of September. But I remember, getting access and just, trawling through, I think, the first module in a week. I went through everything. I forgot the question, sorry. I just went on and on.
Just concerns that you had.
Yeah, was it worth the money? Would it get me the results, and how quickly could I earn back the money?
Okay. Yeah. And it worked out well, but
yeah.
We'll get into how well in a sec. I'll keep pushing it back. I know you've not been in like many other sort of high ticket or any other high ticket programs, but the world is not short of people selling similar stuff, big promises, 100K months, 10K months, whatever it is. I do that obviously for us because I feel like it's a necessary evil. But what made you pick us out of all these other wonderful and awful, two sides of the coin programs that, on the surface look very similar?
It was you, and it was the way that the way you speak. It's no bullshit. It's not very, I think everything is very American in the worst possible way. And I think I resonated very well with the way you communicate. And it's, I remember the first video I saw was that the LinkedIn gurus are going to hate this because you offer the free LinkedIn training. And, it is the no bullshit way of acting and communicating, and the bollocking is that's something I need. I don't need anyone to stroke me, with my hairs. I don't know if that's a saying in English, but I need someone to push me and to tell me that I need to do the fucking thing.
Okay. Yeah, we don't do stroking in either sense.
No.
I know you're coming over to Manchester in 2 months' time for the event, so just need to put that out there. There will be no stroking.
Okay. Only punching.
Not from me. I don't know. Other team members, Katie's watching, so you have to try your luck there. Katie has put in the chat she will stroke you. Emma's also said she'll give you a stroke.
Oh, that's nice. Good.
Okay.
The right side is best.
Katie will stroke Emma for $997. Amazing. Okay, what's been the biggest unlock then? Because I like you do to get in someone's brain and like crawl around. What was making the money is one thing, but aside from that, it's like what's changed, and you're like, oh my god, I look at this completely differently now.
Let me just, because I think I'm gonna try to keep it to one thing, but it is actually several things. But it was a light bulb moment, and I feel kind of stupid for saying it, that I could actually take control of my pipeline. I could reach out to people and not just sit on my fucking hands like a diva and expect people to come to me because they've done so in a year. And I always said that I would rather die than, pick up the phone and call people, because I thought it was either, people coming to me or do cold calling. But it was the stuff in between that I could actually just have conversations with people that I find interesting, and, ways of talking to people that I do naturally in a system. That's what, made the whole difference. And also, I think the other thing is, focus on what matters, not, fucking around in a Canva carousel for 2 days instead of just writing to people.
That's a big pet hate of mine. And there's a reason I always talk about pissing around in Canva, is because I spent maybe 2 months getting all my stuff ready to launch on Instagram, as if anyone would fucking notice anyway. And I was like, I'm not launching until I have 30 posts, and they all must be carousels, because I'd seen Dane Walker's carousels, and I was like, I want them to be like his. Problem is they weren't, and I kind of knew that they weren't. So I went around making them on different bits of software. So I did all 30 in Photoshop or PowerPoint, Canva, and then I settled on the final one, which I use now, which is XD. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. After that, after work, I was spending 2-3 hours on a carousel every single day. And then I just was getting 10 likes or something like that. And I was, but no money. And then I ended up someone got in touch, and that's when I was like, oh, I could either pay someone or just make this simpler and actually focus on the money side of things. So, So I like the thing you said about focusing on the bit in the middle. It doesn't have to be cold. It never has to be cold unless you want it to. And if you're in desperate times, then it should be you should do that. Or people will come to you. And I think the beauty is that bit in between, because you just go after the warm people, and there are ways of creating that warm energy, right?
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be sleazy or, pretend, or because I don't like working with people I don't like anyway.
Same,
yeah. So so that's the big one. And also, taking control of the way, the operation in my business. I've put stuff in my calendar, the non-negotiables that I have to do. I put in my workout, I put in my priority pipeline where I'm supposed to reach out to people. And 90% of all days it works. Sometimes it doesn't, because, life happens. And being more selective of my time, instead of, thinking that I have to say yes to every single, coffee agreement with whoever, because I like people, but I also, like to make money sometimes.
Love it. Okay. Well, let's move on to the bit that I've been putting off for a while. And you messaged me yesterday and said you've got some almost side-by-side comparisons of when you started versus now, and where things are at. So tell us where you were at, if you can, when you started, and then we'll do the big reveal.
I will. So the worst month last year, it was, now I have to make sure I converted it correctly. In Danish kroner, I know nobody cares, but I care. It's 26,000 Danish kroner. That's $4,000. And that's not, that's not horrible, but it wasn't, it's not, I cannot feed my family. I live in Copenhagen. It's a very expensive city. So that was not very good. And my best month last year was 15K. But that's not the funny one. The funny one, and the big one, is from January until September last year, my revenue was, oh shit, I'm going to repeat that because I didn't do the conversion. Okay, so from January to September, my revenue was 77 $100,000. And from September to December, I made 46,000 in just 3 months.
Wow, in 30% of the time.
Yeah.
Boom.
And I had to double check it, and I had to, call on my partner and say, "Can you check this for me, please? Because it has to be wrong. How can I make almost the same amount of money in 3 months as I did, from January to this September?" I think that's insane.
It is insane.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah. People are clapping you in the chat.
Thank you.
Wow. So there's the other unlock, right? It's not just the mental stuff, and it's this cycle. As we said, the personal feeds the business feeds the personal. Mm-hmm. What did that feel like? Because, well, you tell me.
First, it felt odd because it felt, am I allowed to make money and not die from it? That's, that was because it's always been hard for me to have a job, like being an employee. And it's been hard starting the business, being in the business. So can this be real? And I'm going to cry maybe, but this is going to change my life. And it has changed my life because I can now tell my partner that we can go on holiday. We're just, looking at a house right now. We live on 53 square meters. That's tiny with a 3-year-old. So now we can actually buy the house that we want, close to my family. And it's, I feel like I almost feel like a proper grown-up. Almost.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah.
I know what you mean about am I allowed to do this? I talk about it in my content because I used to literally remember. Have you seen Shawshank Redemption, the film?
Yes.
He gets out of jail. He has to ask if he can go to the toilet. My job was like that. You had to log yourself in for toilet time on your screen, so everyone could see that you weren't at your desk, and then it was ticking away, and you had timed toilet breaks. And then I moved to a place where it was just like, what? I can just go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Where now I'm all the way from that to doing this. It's like, I'll just take 3 times as long because I want to when I go to the toilet because I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that massive unlock, and it's only going to get stronger. It's only going to get more powerful and more liberating because you've got the momentum now.
Yeah. And I can when I look at my calendar, that's also a big one. It's last year, I was putting in work every day. I was not very smart on, about my planning. So if I had one day off, I have to put in some work. I need to, talk to a client, whatever can I do to fill up the time to make sure that I earned enough money because I had no idea if I was making enough money. But now I can look at my calendar and, I'm booked all the way through March. I've never tried that before.
You're booked all the way for another 2 months?
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Okay. How soon are you buying that house?
Soon, I hope. It's a big transition because it's the countryside and I do not identify myself as a countryside person anymore. So it's, it's fucking with my head a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. Country and city is like very, like we're in the middle, but yeah. Oh, congratulations. I always say this on these interviews, and it's because I mean it. When I have a call with someone and they join C2C, I can spot pretty much straight away if they're going to be a high performer. And I had that feeling with you, and I don't get it wrong anymore, which is weird, but a good thing. So I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. Well done.
Thank you for, I know it's, it's the team and it's you, and it's just, I don't know if I've never found anything like this before. And then whenever I sat with another solo business owner today, and I heard the same excuses that I was, using before. I can't do this, and my, life is testing me. And I know sometimes life is testing you and you need to double down on stuff and you need to adjust. But also having the accountability in the community. I thought that no fucking way I'm gonna spend time in the community because I just need to, focus on the business. But every time I speak to someone about my pricing, okay, you need to bump that up. Every time I talk to someone about some kind of doubt, okay, try this. It all helps. And I wouldn't be able to charge the kind of money today that I do without, the team and the community and, the pricing psychology stuff that we've done. And, it's a pretty overwhelming, program, but it's definitely worth it. And I think I've told someone that she's a straight up idiot for not doing this because it's going to help her. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if she is, but she's an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about that then before we wrap up. That word overwhelm. I've heard it from a lot of our clients that, there's a lot of overwhelm when joining C2C. And at the start, I'd maybe try and start justifying it and be like, yeah, well, because of this, because of that. And now I'm just like, well, what the fuck did you think? Why were your expectations in terms of this program? You just think it's going to be like, oh, put some words in and like create a carousel or something like that. And then I think there's a big thing in terms of the expectations and excuses, like you rightly said, that you set and give to yourself. Because you have a choice and it doesn't happen overnight, but over the course of a couple of months, you can call yourself out if you spot the patterns of, why do I keep saying this same thing and making this same excuse or expecting it to be easy when it's literally the hardest sport in the world.
Yeah.
Of running your own business, especially when you're raising children as well.
It's an extreme sport.
Yeah, it's an extreme sport. That's a good way to frame it. What do you think the biggest bullshit excuse was that you kept telling yourself? Aside from I'm going to sit on my hands and people are just going to give me money, because that one's personal favorite.
How long do I have? I was telling myself that who was I to charge that kind of money without 10 years of experience with that exact industry or, that exact channel, email, for example. And also there's a thing in Denmark. It's a very common thing here. I haven't heard about it anywhere else. It's called Jantelov. It doesn't make sense. It's like something that we grew up with. Who are you to think or to act like that or to charge that kind of money? So everybody is almost downplaying yourself because everybody's watching and everybody's having an opinion. And Danes are the worst in that aspect. So I was looking at the market and I was seeing other copywriters. Okay, they are struggling, so I have to struggle as well. And work has to be hard for me to succeed and make good money. I cannot charge that amount of money for 5 hours of work, for example. So I was caught up in the hourly or daily, rates instead of the value.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
Well, if everyone's suffering, they're all zigging. We need to zag. That's we'll talk about that later on tonight. But okay, thank you for what has been a brilliant podcast interview, long form video clip. I've really enjoyed it. I'm even more hyped to meet you in a couple of months in Manchester. Before we close out, 2 things. 3 things. Shit, we're not at the end now. Okay. A couple more minutes. First thing, tell me about this question. It's one of my favorite questions to ask on interviews, because you can clip it out and just use it as a social post on its own. Let's pretend, if we speak about that woman who who's obviously an idiot, but let's pretend one of your best friends was considering joining C2C and you had to persuade them now to do it. What would you say?
that's difficult because I work in persuasion, but in writing. So thanks for putting me on the spot.
Pleasure.
I think I would imagine how life is with control of your pipeline, done with the sleepless nights, done with the arguments about money and overview and winging it. If you want to stop winging it and you want to be the best version of yourself in your business, you need to fucking invest in yourself. You cannot, cheap yourself to success. I think that's and also if you put in the work, within 3 months maximum, you can get it back. I think maybe I had it back in, the 2 months, maybe. The money was back.
Time. It's becoming more and more common. Amazing. So you grab someone, and then I'm going to grab people by the neck and then just play them that video. Just that 40 seconds.
You have to shake them while, you say it.
Yeah, with saliva coming out. Oh, we'll stop that. Second to last thing, what does the future hold? We're going to get into this in a bit, in a second anyway, when we hop off this interview. But what's the plans for World Domination 2026? What's happening? How's it happening?
Well, I've gotten myself booked up, so I have to not be too comfortable. That's very I'm not concerned, but I'm very, what's it called? I don't know. I forgot the word. I have to make sure that I don't get too comfortable and I, keep investing in my, exactly. So I want to do more teaching, more copywriting workshops with, marketing departments. That's one thing. I want to do my own, in-person copywriting workshop for B2B people who wants to write non-sucky copywriting in Denmark. And I'm dabbling in making trying to do like a digital product.
Okay.
Something that I can, I don't like the term, passive income, but something that I can, click a button and then it's gonna roll.
I think Rachel launched something.
Yeah.
And she's typically like B2B. She's B2B and she launched and made I don't know, 7K before launch. So do it. Quite easy to do as well, because you can do it at your own pace. But then you realize, actually, I've not got much time. I need to get it out there. So it's not that easy. Ignore it. Amazing. Well, I'm excited to support you alongside those plans, and we're going to talk about them after we end the recording. But where can people follow you?
On LinkedIn.
Amazing.
But the issue is I write in Danish. So I don't know if it's something is gonna. I don't know how well it translates. So, but I'm there.
Is there anywhere
I'm funny in Danish, so I've been told.
You've been told.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to meeting you in a couple of months as well. And again, congratulations. Mind blowing.
Thank you for bollocking me into making some actual money.
Pleasure. I love it. I live for this shit.